Hey guys, Philosopher here, and today I've got my stock watch infographic for the month of October 2021. This is actually for the current patch, so I do these on a patch by patch basis. Right now, I don't think that there's enough going on in between a patch, in the middle of a current patch. So this is for the current patch. So the infographic is linked below, but I'm going to walk through it now and provide a lot of context to help you understand why I'm making the points that I am here. So the purpose of this infographic is to talk about at a high level, sort of generally speaking, where the meta is shifting at a high level in this game. Obviously, this is from my perspective as a player that has unlocked everything and has all the characters that matter at a very high level. Your perspective can be different depending on where you are in the game, but I think that this can be helpful to you no matter where you're at in the game. Even if you're a new player, if you're free to play, wherever you're at in the game, whether you're raid-oriented, war-oriented, you can benefit from seeing sort of at a very high level where the trends are, which characters are trending up and down or getting more and less valuable, what characters are worth investing in. We go through red star upgrades and everything here. So let's start with trending up. The reason I have Shadowland as a trending up team is now Shadowland is actually a team that can counter some of the top meta. So if with the new Alliance War changes, it is very, very hard at times to counter some of the new meta teams, whether it's, obviously teams like Heroes for Hire, Infinity Watch, but more importantly, things like even like the new Warriors teams and, the partial Weapon X teams we have and, the buffed up Uncanny and Marauders teams. With the now you have Cargo Bay, these war ready buffs. It is just the balance has been shifted in favor of defense. But one team that really does well is Shadowland because it has a lot of speed. It can go early before these newer meta teams go, particularly if you have Hanger Up that makes Moon Knight go quickly. So I think that the stock of this team has risen for sure. Symbiotes are another team I think that is trending up. This is a team that a lot of people had in the doghouse after Doom 1.1. I mean, people rating Doom difficulty 1, on Doom 1 difficulty 1 were struggling through that boss node, not able to one-shot it. Some people were really suffering there, and there was a lot of predictions that symbiotes were going to be worthless going forward, that the devs were ready to sell us a new team. I don't know what the devs are going to do in the future. Okay, I don't have some rumors to spread here, but what I can say is this much: in Doom 2.3, in the highest difficulty level, we're using full symbiote teams and having no trouble. And so you can really rest assured that if you're putting your blue ISO on your symbiotes, that they're going to do fine in Doom 2, even up to the highest difficulty we have right now. From my perspective, that justifies investing in symbiotes, because if you are raiding, you need to get through those bio nodes, and symbiotes are the way to do that. I also think old war teams are trending up. I got to tell you, I have still not invested in teams like Fantastic Four, for example. I have, if you look at my teams like Fantastic Four and Sinister Six, they're pretty sorry. People always are talking about my roster here, but that's only these newer characters since I joined this big alliance. But if you go to some of the older teams, my Fantastic Four is pretty weak. If you look even at a team like Sinister Six, I have one Doc Ock is built up. The rest of these characters are all G12. There's a lot of teams like that on my team. I mean, my AIM team, pretty sorry shape here. Gear tier 11, not even upgraded, and so forth. So definitely a lot of work to be done with those teams for a lot of players. And I will just say that I am tempted now to upgrade some of them because I care about war. I know some players don't, but a lot of us do. And for players that want to compete in war, you now have those 2 extra slots. So, Fantastic Four suddenly is a lot more important because, both, you're going to be running it on either offense or defense. Sinister Six, they were kind of falling off and they were being turned into hybrids. Not anymore. People really have a use for Sinister Six. And they're, I think, enhanced by the fact that there just are more war slots and more attacks. All right, in terms of trending down, Heroes for Hire for sure. I mean, right now before this patch, and even for the moment, because we don't have the full Weapon X team out yet, we don't have Omega Red. Heroes for Hire is basically what the entire Alliance War meta is centered around. If somebody on your team is stupid enough to use Infinity Watch on something other than Heroes for Hire, and the other team has Heroes for Hire in every room, you're screwed. Like, good luck defeating that Heroes for Hire team. You're basically going to have to throw everything you can at it to get it down. That's going to change soon, though, with the Weapon X team once we have Omega Red in the game. And really, Shang-Chi was only, at the top of the war meta for essentially one patch. For one, you in other words, you had Heroes for Hire bonkers for a patch. We kind of figured them out. People were able to one-shot them with a kind of soup team with Kestrel and Silver Surfer and so forth. Then Shang-Chi came out. That team didn't work. You had to use Infinity Watch. Then now Weapon X is going to come out. Now, obviously, the only counter to Heroes for Hire, requires this new legendary, but still, there's no question that the team is going to be far less important than they are now. They're not going to be so pivotal. Infinity Watch is also trending down. First of all, right now in war, as we stand today, as I make this video, Infinity Watch is the only team that can beat Heroes for Hire. So it is preeminent and paramount for you to understand in war what each one of your members is doing with their Infinity Watch, making sure they're using them against Heroes for Hire, managing, that you're making sure you're using your big Infinity Watches against the big Heroes for Hire on the other side, and so on. That can all end, right? And it's still going to be a very important team in war offense, but not the best. Now, Weapon X is going to be the best war offense team, assuming that what the devs are showing us and telling us is correct. And in addition to that, Infinity Watch currently rules Arena, but the devs claim, now I mentioned this in my Envoy video when the team was released, the devs told us that they think Omega Red is going to be in the Arena meta. They think that you're going to break up here Infinity Watch, you're going to throw Omega Red in there. I don't know if they're telling the truth or not. Well, I don't know if they're right. I'm sure they're saying what they believe. But, I mean, Scopely gets it wrong a lot in terms of their predictions for how characters are going to do. But nonetheless, I do think it's clear that they are already starting to think about taking down Infinity Watch. Their reign at the top has been fairly short-lived. This is not going to be a team like Black Order that just sat there at the top of the Arena meta for, a year, something like that. All right, let's talk about these new characters. So Weapon X, that team looks to be the best war offense team. It also looks to be a hard counter to Heroes for Hire based on the kits. But it's really unclear to me whether the team's going to have value outside of Alliance War. I'm getting a lot of questions about Weapon X. People are asking me, how's the team doing raids? What is the best ISO? What are the best E4s? I haven't even played with the full team yet. So I don't, make those sort of definitive statements, okay? But just, in terms of how things are looking into my crystal ball for the future, which is the point of this infographic. This is sort of educated inferences that we can draw on what we're seeing in the game at a very high level. Weapon X looks to me to be an amazing war offense team and nothing more. But still amazing for war offense. You're a team everyone's going to have if you want to compete in war. Omega Red looks great for Dark Dimension, and the devs claim he will shake up the Arena meta. We'll see. Wolverine and Sabretooth, to me, they are one piece here that's very interesting because even if you don't have Omega Red, let's say you're a mid-game player still working your way through DD3 or something, the fact that Wolverine and Sabretooth get reworked has really breathed new life into the Uncanny team and to the Marauders team. It has definitely elevated both teams up a notch, and people are already creating kind of hybrid teams with the Weapon X team where they're using, for example, Silver Samurai, Wolverine, Sabretooth, and then some members of either Uncanny or Marauders. So definitely some interesting stuff just with those reworks. They have been reworked to be very, very high damage characters. All right, let's look at investment advice. Now, this is my Red Star promos. People are asking me all the time, Philosopher, do you have a Red Star promo infographic? I do it. It's on Stockwatch. And I've really changed my view on this. Up until this particular one that is being released today, I've always said, be very careful about gold promos. Only put your gold promos on like Kestrel, Silver Surfer. Now they're giving away gold promos a little more. We had an event where they were giving out gold promos. I feel that they're obviously, they have offers now with gold promo calendars. I think the price of them is coming down. They're loosening them a little bit. And I will say that one gold promo investment that I feel very good about is upgrading Kestrel to 7 red stars. I did it, and she really carries me through the tech section, and she's really, really huge in the skill section. I think she's fantastic for raids. And in war, best standalone war character right now, at least. Just a plug-and-play character there. It's super vital. So to me, she's the best character in the game for now. Super happy with that investment. But, and then there are others you can bring to 6 red star. I think that can be roster dependent in terms of your needs and goals. But one thing I will just say is save some gold promos for new characters. There are some folks I know who are asking me when they hit 100 gold promos, they're ready to spend more. I perhaps hoard too many. I have hundreds of them hoarded up, but I do think having some for the newer characters is helpful. So here's my list of the top 10. It's changed a little bit from the last one. I have Kestrel 1, and I have Deathpool number 2. I just think Deathpool, even as a standalone character, her passive where she does the out-of-turn damage is so strong. She has such power creep stats. So to me, she is a character, and I also think she's going to stand the test of the time with that alt, having some value as sort of a glass cannon even after her stats are no longer important. So to me, she's a character I think worth investing in. Kestrel for sure is obviously the number 1 in my view. And then these other ones, Silver Surfer, his peak isn't as high. I know people are like, he's already less important to me, but he's still on my Mystic rating team, and the fact that he removes charges, I think, is going to give him a lot of long-term value. Captain Sam is another character I think will just be around a long time with the speed bar and ability energy. And then you've got essentially Infinity Watch. I've taken off Moondragon. I just don't see her used much solo, and I think you can get away with her, 4 or 5 red stars for sure, if or she could be a lower red star for you. Bishop I still have on the list because I think having a big bishop is so key to having the Axemen work. I don't regret the 6 red star upgrade on Bishop. And I really debated Sharon Carter versus Moondragon. I put Sharon Carter here because she really hits like a truck and is a fantastic character, underrated character in terms of what she does. That stun turn 1, ability block turn 2. Very, very important character, underrated. My looking forward looks a lot like the last one, and it's really because I think this advice and this is really basically the advice I've given the last couple of, or at least, the last couple iterations of this, and it's just, I think the advice still holds true. Upgrade your roster, keeping in mind Doom Raid 2 and Dark Dimension 5. So in other words, focus on your Doom Raid teams first, I would say. Then go to war teams if you are focused on war. Dark Dimension 5 looms in the background. I have a lot of teal gear. I'm not placing it on my characters yet. I am waiting to make a determination as to which characters are the right choice. There are people who are. There's a guy in my alliance who's trying to be the first guy to have a gear tier 16 character, and I don't, more power to him. I don't judge him for it, but I'm not racing against him for that. I'm focused on Dark Dimension 5. And as you know, if you've been watching this channel, I believe very highly in hoarding and keeping your options open. So that's what I'm doing for now. I think you should continue to avoid upgrading older characters. I did a video called The Great Reset in which I talk about how the game has really changed over the last several months with the new power creep, power leap, whatever you want to call it, that has happened. But, on the other hand, now that we have these Alliance War changes, if you need more teams, you got to do what you got to do. In other words, I may end up having to upgrade, let's say, Fantastic Four, or upgrade, my Sinister Six or whatever, just to compete, because I've got to fight wars in my alliance. I'm a war captain. I can't say I'm not going to do any. I'm going to only do 8 attacks. I'm only going to do 9 attacks. I don't have enough teams. Like, you can't do that. So, all of you, and based on your individual situation and your individual alliance, are going to have to make a decision about how much you want to invest in your war teams. But otherwise, I think investing heavily in the new characters, which is what I generally have been doing here, I think is the right strategy. And then at the bottom, as I say, focus on Doom Raid characters that will hold value for the long haul. What I mean by that is, if you're somebody with very limited resources, you're a new player, you're a newer free-to-play player in particular, right? And you're very tight on resources. Focusing the resources you do have on teams that are Doom Raid teams, but that are going to be around a while, like the Secret Avengers, the New Warriors, and so on. I think that is a very good priority. I mean, people ask me all the time, Philosopher, what's the number one team to invest in? And I think there's no right overall answer to that. There's a number of good teams in this game, but I think if you're very tight on resources, focusing on those core raid teams that are very new and are going to be around for a long time is the way to go. All right, guys, if you like this video, smash that like button, subscribe to this channel. You can check out the infographics as linked below, or just go to my Discord. That is linked below as well, and that's where all of my new infographics always are. Always have the up-to-date ones there. Please leave your comments, your questions below if you think I'm right, wrong, whatever, or just go to my Discord, leave your comments there. We have a lot of good discussions there. You can also go to my Twitch stream. That is linked below as well.